What's up, people? Andre Sean Gallagher here again. We're going to talk about the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, I'm really high on the Rockets this year. You know, they got rid of Jeff Van Gundy. That's not why I'm high. What's up, people? Andre Sean Gallagher here again. We're going to talk about the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, I'm really high on the Rockets this year. You know, they got rid of Jeff Van Gundy. That's not why I'm high on them. I'm an old Knicks fan, so Jeff Van Gundy is my guy. But he was kind of archaic on his offense, and the offense was considered to be very plodding and stagnant, and I don't know if I can really disagree with that. As much as I love Jeff Van Gundy, I think the NBA is moving away from that offense, and in this day and age, people talk about the golden years of the NBA and how much better it was. Well, one of the reasons why they shot so well, one of the reasons why they shot so well in the past in the NBA is because they didn't have the scouting that they have today in the NBA. You understand these NBA organizations, they sit around, they look at video of the other teams and their plays all day long and prepare for it every night. You know, of course, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make shots if all you're doing is running plays. And also, you're talking about better defenders across the board in the NBA, better athletes across. They cover more ground. To have stagnant offenses, I believe that there's no way you can be successful in the NBA when you have a stagnant offense. You have to have an offense that has constant motion and moving around, that has your primary players catching the ball in different positions on the floor and making them triple threats when they catch the ball, having everyone on your team a triple threat when they catch the ball. And you look at Rick Adelman coming in there now. Rick Adelman known, of course, for his success with the Sacramento Kings, but don't forget the success he had with the Portland Trail Blazers. Of course, it was a different offense he was running back then, but the success itself needs to be respected. He's a very good coach, a very underrated coach. And with the Kings the last few years, you got to understand they haven't really had the personnel, and they haven't been healthy. Aside from that, to run the offense that Adelman ran when Sacramento was having their big seasons with Webber and Divac and Christie and those guys. But now they do have the personnel to run that offense. Yao Ming is a decent passer, and then they bring in a guy, Luis Scola. Luis Scola, I'm super high on him. I talked about him on one of the other videos. Luis Scola is a guy, if you watch Team USA over the summer, and if you get a chance to watch European basketball on NBA TV, you know that this guy has a lot of heart. He's a real rough guy. He's hardcore. He gets the ball. He's aggressive to the rim. He's a real good post player. He can shoot the ball really quickly, and the way he shoots is much the same for a lot of European players. Their shot is sweet for obvious reasons. Obviously, they practice shooting more in Europe than they do here, but they don't shoot jump shots, so to speak. When you shoot a jump shot, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in your jump shot. All right, if you don't jump the same way, if you start to fatigue, you know, you don't get the same height on your shot. These guys, they catch and release. They catch and release. There's not a whole lot of setting up. There's not a whole lot of bending of the knees. There's not a long setup. There's a catch and release. And you look at one of the American players who does that too. Brent Barry, I think, is the best at it. Brent Barry doesn't even roll the ball in his hands to find the seam and get a good grip. Brent Barry will catch a ball. Sometimes he'll catch it in the shooting motion as he catches it. And that way, he just goes right up with it. And I love the way Brent Barry shoots, because having a quick release in today's NBA is key, because the guys rotate so quickly on offense that if you're sitting around trying to get your balance together and trying to find the seams, and by the time you get the shot off, there's a hand there. Scola is one of these same types of players. Not only can he shoot the ball quickly, he shoots the ball unexpectedly. And that's going to hurt NBA players. It's hurt the NBA players in international competition, because they're so used to guys kind of telegraphing their shots. Scola doesn't do that. Once he starts to get comfortable, you're going to see Scola catch the ball and shoot the ball when people least expect it, and drill it. And then after he's done that, after he's established that he will shoot the ball and make it, then NBA players are going to be on their pins and needles every time he catches the ball, which is going to make him even quicker on offense. It's going to make his moves quicker. It's going to make him more effective offensively. And because he's also a decent passer in that offense, he is a triple threat every time he catches the ball at the power forward position, and that is key. And the same thing for Yao Ming. Ming is not going to be able to put the ball on the floor, and that's going to hurt them a tad in the high post, because he's not going to be a triple threat. But he can shoot the ball from out there, and it's very difficult to get a hand in his face if you're not expecting him to shoot, because the defenders have to gather themselves to jump as high as they're going to need to jump to bother his shot. So I think Offensively, the Rockets are going to be nasty. They have a small forward who's smart offensively, and Shane Battier. And Shane Battier is almost automatic from three now. In certain areas on the floor, I would not dream to leave Shane Battier open. He's a very smart offensive player. He's a good passer. Defensively, he's a very smart defender as well as he's not super quick, but as I was talking about again with the Knicks and David Lee, I was talking to someone the other day. Everyone applauds David Lee's effort on defense with the Knicks. He's not the only one, by the way, but there's a couple other players that work just as hard. But sometimes effort without discipline is a detriment on defense. The problem is that you can run real hard at a guy, and if you're not smart about how you get to him, he's going to walk right past you. All right, and you have to have discipline on defense also. And sometimes you need to use less effort and more smarts defensively. What you really want in defense is 100% focus. You want 100%